So welcome to the part 6, which is the last section of the presentation of ISO 9712. So till now we have seen 5 parts. So the last part was about the qualification examination for level 1 and level 2. So we'll be talking about the certification. A candidate who has been already trained and who has been examined, when he fulfills all the conditions, when he passes the exam, he or she shall be certified and evidence shall be made available by the certification body. So they'll be issuing a hard copy certificate and the valid card, and or by electronically uploading and displaying the relevant information on the certification body's website. For example, if you consider our certification, RTC certification, which is UCAS accredited, so you will be getting a hard copy of the certificate, valid card, and the certificate will be displayed electronically in the website, so anybody can verify your certification based on the surname and the year of birth of the candidate. So certificates shall include at least your name, family name, the date of issue of certification, the date upon which the certification expires, what is the reference to the international standard. Suppose if it is EN ISO 9712, so 2012 version, so it will be displayed there. What is the level of certification, level 1, level 2, or level, name of the CB, then what is the NDT method, what is the sector, is there any limitations of certification, there will be a unique identification number given, the signature of the certified individual. And a photograph of the certified individual. In the case of the valid card, generally valid card is issued with a photograph. And there is a device to prevent the falsification of valid card. There will be a cold seal which will be given so that it cannot be duplicated. Signature of the representative of the CB. So there may be a special space either on both the certificate and the valid card for signature and stamp of the employer authorizing the holder of the certificate to operate. So with this, the employer demonstrates taking responsibility of for the test results. Digital certificates. So digital certificates may be provided in lieu of or as well as a physical hard copy certificate. So in this case, the subject to compliance with national regulations, the following data are available without request online at the website of the certification body by the interested parties. So the legal name, contact information, accreditation status of the CB, and the family name and individual, unique ID, photographic image, date of issue, scope of certification, any limitations it is applicable. So whatever the data which has been listed can be printed directly from the, in case it can be printed from the website, the printed output shall include the date of print and the statement that the current certification status can be verified at the relevant website. Validity. So the validity of certificate is concerned, the maximum period of validity is 5 years. The period of validity shall commence from the date of issue of certification when all the requirements of certification, training, experience, vision test, success and examination are fulfilled. So the certificate is valid for 5 years. When the certification can become invalid, at the discretion of the CB, after reviewing evidence of behavior incompatible with the certification procedures or failure to abide by the code of ethics. Any malfunctioning or any, during the exam or anything, it has been found, then there is a possibility of the certification becoming invalid. If the individual becomes physically incapable of performing his duties based upon the failure of visual acuity examination taken annually under the responsibility of his employer. In case the visual examination failed also, the certification becomes invalid. Or if the significant interruption, so there is a significant interruption which we have already discussed in the, I think, the part 2. If it takes place in the method for which the individual is satisfied, if the individual fails recertification, so every 10 years there is a recertification, there will be a practical exam which will be taking place. In case if the person fails there also, then there is a possibility of certification becoming invalid. Revalidation. The certification body shall define the conditions for revalidation in the case of whatever we have just discussed before. For revalidation, after the significant interruption, the individual shall pass a examination. In case there is a significant interruption has occurred, then the individual shall pass a recertification examination. This certification is revalidated for the new period of validity for 5 years from the date of revalidation. Now comes renewal. So prior to completion of first period of validity and every 10 years thereafter, certification may be renewed by the certification body for the new period of 5 years. So always the renewal is every 5 years it is done. So first 5 year it is a renewal. When it comes to the 10th year it is a recertification. Then when it comes to the 15th year it will be a renewal again. Then 20th year will be a recertification. So that is the reason they have given completion of first period of validity and every 10 years a certificate will be renewed on production of documentary evidence of visual examination, then documentary evidence of continuous satisfactory work activity without interruption in the method and the sector for which the certificate renewal is sought. In case if the criteria is not met, for example, the continuous satisfactory evidence is not met, the individuals shall follow the same rules for recertification. That means they need to undergo the examination. In case the item number B is satisfied, then you will be directly renewed for 5 years without any examination. Renewal is done without examination based on the satisfactory work experience. So it is the responsibility of the certificate holder to initiate the procedure required for the renewal. The renewal files shall be presented within 6 months before the expiry. So generally it takes a little bit of time for renewal. So always it is better to present within 6 months before the certificate of expiry. As an exception, and based upon the decision of the CB, files presented within 12 months after that date may be considered. This is a very special case. So over this period, no exception is admitted and candidate shall permitted to attempt a recertification. In case you are going to do it within 12 months, then it will be examination. It will not be renewed based on your continuous work experience. Recertification, as I already told you, recertification is based on the second period of validity, that is 10 years. So the certified individual may be recertified by the CB for the new period of 5 years. So every 10 years there is a recertification, then the certificate will be issued for next 5 years, provided the individual meets the criteria for renewal specified and meets the applicable conditions described in the following. So whatever the requirement, the person has to meet. Again same, so it is the responsibility of the certificate holders to initiate the procedures required to obtain recertification. If the recertification is applied for more than 12 months after the expiry, a complete examination, because it's a recertification, so the candidate has to write a complete examination and shall be passed successfully. If you are submitting your application applied for more than 12 months after the expiry date. The individual shall pass complete a practical examination which demonstrates the continued competence to carry out within the scope of defined on the certificate. This shall include testing specimens appropriate to the scope. So there is a table, this table B.1, specimens can be picked. Generally, the recertification exam, the candidate will be examined for one specimen per sector wise. Again, it depends on the requirements of the CB and depends on the examiner. So generally one specimen per sector for particular level, the practical exam is done. If the individual fails to achieve a grade of at least 70% for the each specimen, and for level 2 for the instruction, 2 tests, again 2 retests shall be allowed after at least 7 days and within 6 months. That means the second retest is allowed after 7 days, but all this examination should be conducted within 6 months of the first attempt to the recertification of the examination. In the event, in case the guy is failing in the 2 allowable retest, the certificate shall not be revalidated. So it will not be revalidated. To regain the certification, the candidate shall apply as a new certification. In case the guy fails during the recertification, the 2 allowable retest, then he has to come and appear as a new candidate. So in that case, no exemptions shall be awarded. It will be like a new candidate. All the examinations shall be taken. For level 3, there are two ways by which you can, renew your certificate, recertify. So one is by examination, directly sitting for examination. The other one is by structural credit system. So this credit system is similar to the certificate we renew for ASNT NDT level 3. So it is based on the point basis for the each item specified. So that is given in the Annexure C. The individual may decide between examination or credit. So you can decide whether you want to sit for the examination or credit system. If the credit system is chosen and requires submission of employer's document, access to employer's premises, individual shall provide to the certification body written statement of approval from the employer. So you have to provide a written statement from the employer for approval. In case if they want to access the employer premises, it will be accessed. In both cases, the individual shall either provide appropriate documented evidence acceptable to the certification body for his continued practical competence. Because whether you are taking the written exam or a credit system, but you need to show the documentary evidence that you are having the continuous practical competence in the method, the practical examination, except for the drafting of NDT instructions. In case if it is an examination, the individual shall successfully complete the examination that includes minimum of 20 questions on the application of test method in the sector concerned, which demonstrates the technique, standards, codes, applied technology, or the option of CB. 5 additional questions on the requirements of the certification scheme, mostly on ISO 9712. So in case you choose the examination, you have to, for each method, you have to appear for a 20 question examination, plus 5 questions on the certification scheme. If the individual fails to achieve a grade of at least 70% in the recertification examination, the maximum same like for level 2, 2 retests allowed. The time period for which all the tests are taken shall be 12 months unless otherwise extended by the CB. So within 12 months, you need to take all the 2 retests. In the event of failure, suppose in case you fail in the 2 allowable retests, the certificate shall not be revalidated, and to regain the certification for the sector and method, the candidate shall be required to achieve success in the appropriate main method. So he has to go and take the total main method examination. The candidate who applies for and does not meet the requirements of credit system, suppose you apply for a credit system, but you don't meet the requirements of that. In the event of failure at the first attempt, only one retest. So you will be asked to take the examination. In case you fail, there will be one retest which shall be allowed within 12 months for the date of application of recertification via the structural credit system. So clear? So in case you fail in the, you submit the application for credit, you failed there, you are not able to meet the requirement, then you will be asked to take the examination. In case you fail, you will be allowed for only one retest. Whereas the candidate who fails directly by examination, he is allowed to retest. Files. So what are the files the certification body or qualification AQBs shall maintain? The actual list or database of all the individuals classified according to the level, sector, method, individual file for each candidate who has not been certified for at least 5 years from the date of application, individual file for each certified individual, and for each individual whose certification has lapsed, containing photograph or digital image, examination documents, renewal and recertification documents, reasons for any withdrawal. So the individual file shall be kept under suitable conditions of safety and confidentiality as long as the certificate remains valid, and for at least one full certification cycle after the certification has elapsed. After it has elapsed, again they have to keep it for the one full certification cycle. So sectors, we have been saying sectors. So the sectors can be a product sector or industry sector. So product sector can be a casting sector, forging sector, wells, tubes and pipes, rod products, composite materials, etc. You see the industry sector, it can be a manufacturing sector, it can be pre and in-service testing, which includes manufacturing, railway maintenance, aerospace, etc. So this is typically the number of specimens which is allowed for the practical exam. So if you see here, suppose a person is taking the exam UT level 2 wells, so he will be given 2 specimens. In case if it is RT2, so it is 2 specimens plus 12 radiographs for interpretation. Credit system for level 3. So in the system, the level 3 candidate gains credit for participation during the 5 years prior to research various NDT methods. It is shown in the table C.1. Limits are placed on the maximum number of points which can be gained in a year and in any activity over the 5 years to ensure there is even spread of activities. So that, see, if there is a, for example, like suppose a 70 points is required. See, there is a given to be eligible for recertification, a minimum of 70 points shall be during the 5-year validity. It does not mean that you get from first year itself 70, then next 4 years you are not working, you don't have any points, then it is not eligible. Same way, the second year you are get, maybe first year you get 10, second year you got 60, then remaining next 3 years you are not working, you don't have any point, then also it is not possible, it will be not acceptable. So minimum you should have 70 points and each year you should have 25 points. So maximum of 25 points per year are accepted. So all the 5 years you should have at least the points. Finally, when it is added, it should be minimum 70 points. But in a year, you can take only 25 points. So if at all you take maximum 25 points in a year, so each year if you calculate 5 years, so how many points you can get it? So maximum 125 points you can get it. So it may not be possible to accrue all 25 points in a year. Some year maybe 25, some year maybe 10, some year maybe 20. So that minimum points, if you get 70, then the person can apply for the structural credit system. So in addition to recertification application, the candidate shall have to submit the evidence of satisfying the criteria. So how you can get all this 70 points and every year 25 points? So it is given a table. Again, this is also again split into many activities. Suppose for example, the first activity, membership of society, points each item is 1, maximum points per year only you can get 3, and maximum points per year for 5 years you can get only 8 points. So attending at sessions at NDT related working groups. So if you see here, points accorded for each item is again 1, then maximum is 5, then again the maximum points per 5-year period is given as 15. So like this, the points has to be collected and you have to fill the sheet, respective form, and apply it so that your certificate gets reviewed or recertified. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So with this part, I am completing the total BSc and ISO 9712 2012 version. Total detailed explanation has been given in total 6 parts. So thank you very much. So in case you like all our presentations, so please like it and subscribe to our channel, so which will encourage us to put in more technical content. So we try to decide. So although there was a long gap between the part 4 and part 5, so presently we have decided to release very frequently the technical session or technical presentations. So we like you to kindly subscribe to our channel, and also you can inform your colleagues or friends to subscribe this. So in case if you have any queries, so kindly contact me in kumaran@ansagroup.org. Thanks a lot.